Dangerous liaisons, Billy Abbott and the Aristotle Dumas partnership. In the world of intrigue and power struggles on The Young and the Restless, Billy Abbott proves once again that he is not an easy character to predict. While struggling with internal conflicts within the Abbott family, Billy finds himself in a situation that could completely change his future and the Abbott clan's. A deal with Aristotle Dumas. Dangerous liaisons, Billy Abbott and Aristotle Dumas. Billy, always known for his recklessness and determination, decides to make a deal with Aristotle Dumas, an influential man in the business world who plans to take over large companies. Dumas' goal is to take back Chancellor Industries, the corporation that the Abbott family has run for many years. Billy, not only for his own benefit but also to get revenge on Victor Newman and Jill Abbott, his mother, decides to cooperate with Dumas in an ambitious scheme. What makes the story interesting is that Billy is not only trying to win back the Chancellor, but also to annoy Victor Newman, one of his biggest rivals in life. Victor, a symbol of power and a man who never gives in easily, has been the main antagonist in the financial battles that Billy has been through. This makes Billy's plot even more complicated and dangerous. The untold story, Billy's secret relationships and calculations. Although Billy has given his girlfriend Sally Spectra a cover story to hide his deal with Dumas, those who have followed this story realize that Billy is not simply a businessman looking for an opportunity. Billy is playing a risky game. In fact, he has made a deal with Dumas to win back the Chancellor and intends to do whatever it takes to achieve this goal. Sally, although she loves Billy and has been by his side through many difficult situations, is not completely convinced by this plan. She realizes that Billy's actions are becoming increasingly dangerous and could lead them into an unforeseen war. This puts a strain on Billy and Sally's relationship, as she wonders if she can continue to trust him as Billy becomes increasingly drawn into Dumas's schemes. Victor Newman in his special relationship with Aristotle Dumas. While Billy and Dumas are planning to win back the Chancellor, Victor Newman warns Michael Baldwin about the dangers of Dumas. According to Victor, Dumas is a rival not to be underestimated. They have competed for companies in the past and their relationship is not good. Victor believes that Dumas needs to be taken out, because this man is not only a businessman but also a calculating and cunning person. Victor, who is not easily swayed, has a clear nervousness when talking about Dumas. This is a sign that Dumas is indeed a threat to Victor, who prides himself on his stability in the business world. Although he is not a fearful person, the tension in Victor's words is enough to prove that he is well aware of the danger this man poses. Billy Abbott in danger zone. Can he cooperate with Victor? With what is happening? A big question arises: can Billy be forced to cooperate with Victor to stop Dumas's plot? This is an interesting situation in this story when Billy is playing a risky game with Dumas, while Victor is also unwilling to let this rival overwhelm his power. It is worth mentioning that the relationship between Billy and Victor has always been very complicated. Billy, although Jill Abbott's son, has always had an inevitable confrontation with Victor. However, when faced with the threat from Dumas, Billy will have to reconsider his calculations. Will he have the patience to continue his plot, or will he have to ally with his greatest enemy to stop Dumas? This is a question that Billy will have to answer in the tense situations ahead. Devious schemes and risky endings. Although Billy has always been known for his daring and risk-taking abilities, his choice this time will put him in danger like never before. Aristotle Dumas is not a man to be defeated easily, and joining hands with this man can bring unforeseen consequences. Dumas has proven himself to be a worthy opponent, and with Victor threatening, Billy will have to make a difficult decision: continue his plot or work with Victor to save the Chancellor. Sally, despite her suspicions, cannot ignore this tense situation. Can she help Billy escape Dumas's plot, or will she be drawn into a spiral from which neither can escape? This story is sure to continue to develop in unexpected directions as Billy, Dumas, Victor and the characters involved all play dangerous power games that could change their futures. A power play that keeps testing. From Billy's risky deal with Aristotle Dumas to Billy's complicated relationship with Victor, this story is a testament to the constant intrigue that runs through the world of The Young and the Restless. Can Billy win back the Chancellor, or will Dumas's plot destroy everything he has built? And will Victor have the strength to stop this enemy, or will Billy himself face the tragic end of his own making? It's sure to be a tense battle between powerful forces, with big decisions that could change everything. Billy Abbott and the Dangerous Plan, Romance, Deals, and Secret Schemes. In the conspiratorial and confusing world of the young and the restless, one of the stories that's slowly gaining traction is Billy Abbott's daring plan. He's not just seeking power and inheritance from Chancellor Industries, but is also part of a power struggle with unpredictable characters, including Aristotle Dumas, an extremely powerful business tycoon. Billy, always adventurous, decides to share his part of the plot with Phyllis Summers. However, instead of the excitement he's expecting, Phyllis reacts with obvious anxiety. This highlights the difference between the two characters. Billy is always emotional and reckless, while Phyllis, despite her fearlessness, is always cautious and far-sighted. Billy's plan. A risky deal. Billy does not hesitate to reveal to Phyllis that he has struck a deal with Aristotle Dumas. The goal is not only to recapture the Chancellor, but also to prove that he can face his biggest rivals, including Victor Newman and his mother, Jill Abbott. However, the bigger problem is that this deal will put Billy in a dangerous game from which there is no turning back. Billy assures Phyllis and his son Daniel that he is on the right track, that the plan is not about revenge, but about regaining control from a formidable opponent. But the truth that Billy hides is the ulterior motives that he cannot admit, his hatred for Victor, the complexity of his relationship with his mother, and his desire to prove himself when he is at the top of power. Phyllis, while not always understanding Billy completely, is not one to be fooled. Looking at Billy, she realizes that the plan is not as simple as he claims. Dumas is not an easy partner, and the deal Billy has made may cost him dearly. Phyllis begins to realize that Billy has not only made the deal to win back the Chancellor, but also has other reasons behind the mask of calculation. What makes the story special is the involvement of Aristotle Dumas, a powerful business tycoon who not only has extensive connections but also the ability to manipulate and master seemingly impossible situations. Billy knows this, and he still decides to bet on his relationship with Dumas, not only for his own benefit, but also to directly confront the forces that he feels he has been left out. However, the price of this engagement is not a simple promise. Dumas is not someone who easily keeps promises without conditions attached. This is something Billy has not anticipated. These types of deals always have tricks and intrigues inside, and once they are in place, it is difficult to back out without facing serious consequences. Dumas has promised to help Billy win back the Chancellor, but is he really willing to do this unconditionally? Billy is confident that there are no downsides to his deal. But can he control the situation when things start to get out of hand? Phyllis and Daniel, warnings from a loved one. When Billy shares his plans, Phyllis can't help but feel nervous. She knows Billy, knows his boldness and recklessness, but she also realizes that in this scheme, Billy may be entering dangerous territory that he is not fully aware of. Phyllis's worries are reinforced when Billy begins to assert that there are no downsides to this deal. However, Phyllis realizes that if Billy continues on this path, he may have to face inevitable consequences. She is even uncertain whether Billy will be able to keep his promise when things explode. She knows that Dumas is not a man who will give up easily and will not stop at what he has promised. And as things become more complicated, Billy will have to find a way to deal with the holes in his plan. Billy at a crossroads, will he go back? Although Billy tells Phyllis that everything is going according to plan, Phyllis can't help but feel that things are going wrong. She warns him that no matter what, Dumas won't let such a simple deal last long. And if Billy continues to blindly pursue this plan, he may not only lose the Chancellor, but also everything he has built up over the years. Phyllis is not one to give up easily, and she will do everything she can to help Billy realize the danger that lurks. However, will she be able to save the situation when things start to spiral out of control for both of them? Will Billy be sober enough to realize the danger of this relationship, or will he continue to fall into the trap that Dumas has set? Conclusion. Conspiracies inside a power play. Billy Abbott has decided to engage in a dangerous power play when he makes a deal with Aristotle Dumas to win back the Chancellor. But can he keep the advantage when faced with the potential dangers from his own partner? While Phyllis and Daniel worry about the consequences of this reckless move, Billy remains steadfast in his plan, even though Dumas' conditions may cost him dearly. This story is not only about the fight to win back the Chancellor, but also about the psychological battle between Billy, Dumas, and the rest of the Abbott family. Can Billy succeed in carrying out his plan, or will revenge and ambition cost him everything? This story is sure to continue to be one of the most exciting and dramatic episodes on The Young and the Restless. The secret behind deals in power. Billy Abbott and the Dumas plan. In the intrigue and power-hungry world of The Young and the Restless, Billy Abbott proves once again to be anything but predictable. While the Abbott family is engaged in a power struggle for control, Billy decides to enter into a dangerous game with Aristotle Dumas, a business tycoon who cannot be underestimated. The deal between Billy and Dumas, while enticing, carries with it dangers that Billy may not fully understand. When Dumas, a supposed game-changer, becomes prime minister, he promises Billy the chancellorship. The big question, however, is, will Dumas keep his promise without strings attached? This man is not a generous man and certainly would not hand over an empire like the chancellor without his own calculations. This is not a simple story of power and inheritance, but a dangerous struggle that Billy will have to face. Chancellor and the conspiracies in the dark. To Billy, Chancellor has always been a symbol of power in the Abbott family, where he always wanted to assert himself and overcome the shadow of his predecessors. However, the path to regaining Chancellor is not easy. Billy decided to enter into a dangerous agreement with Aristotle Dumas, a man that no one in the business world dares to underestimate. When Dumas became prime minister, Billy was promised the chancellor in his hands, but the question is whether this is really what Dumas promised. Dumas is not someone who is easily fooled. Behind the smiles and promises, Dumas always has his own calculations, and it is impossible for him to hand over Chancellor to Billy without any conditions. With so much power in his hands, Dumas never intended to simply give Billy an empire without any purpose or benefit for himself. This brings Billy to a reality he did not fully anticipate. Does he really know who he is getting into a war with? Could this deal be the beginning of a relentless struggle from which Billy cannot retreat? Secrets and deception, Billy, Dumas and the uncontrollable conspiracies. One of the most important aspects of the story is the secrecy surrounding the relationship between Billy and Dumas. While Billy believes he is executing a strategic plan to win back the Chancellor, Dumas holds important cards that Billy never had. Billy has eliminated almost everyone, including his mother, Jill Abbott, to keep his dealings and moves secret. This is not just a power play, but a completely secret war where there is no room for error or laxity. Billy thinks he is on the right track. He trusts that Dumas will keep his word and will not deceive him. However, as he gets deeper into the scheme, Billy begins to realize that he may be caught in a war he cannot control. Dumas, while seemingly generous in handing over the Chancellor to Billy, actually has dark motives. Billy's inability to see this puts him in a very dangerous position. As things begin to spiral out of control, Billy realizes that he cannot face Dumas on his own. The question is, will Billy need help from his family members, including Victor Newman and his mother, Jill Abbott, to deal with Dumas' machinations? Billy has always had a complicated relationship with both Jill and Victor. Despite being Jill's son, Billy has never been one to accept and follow what his mother says. Meanwhile, with Victor, Billy has always been a rival over the years. However, when facing Dumas, both Billy and the Abbott family will have to realize that they can only deal with this opponent if they work together. Billy will have to decide whether he has the patience to put aside the conflicts in the family and join forces with Jill and Victor to take down Dumas. Another big question is whether this cooperation will bring the results Billy expects, or will it only increase the tension between the members of the Abbott family. The unity of Billy, Jill and Victor will be a key factor in determining whether they can defeat Dumas or not. If not, Billy may have to pay a heavy price for his choices. Dumas will not let Chancellor go easily, and the battle between these forces will only become more intense. Billy Abbott and the power race, is the deal right? While Billy believes his plans are on track, the big question is whether his deal with Dumas will actually benefit Billy in the long run. As Billy begins to realize that he may be caught in Dumas' machinations, he will have to reconsider all of his options. Can Billy overcome these machinations and win back the Chancellor, or will he be drawn into a war from which there is no turning back? Can help from Victor and Jill help Billy maintain his power, or will this war tear apart everything the Abbott family has built? In this complex story, Billy Abbott faces a battle not only about power but also about trust and calculation. The deal with Dumas may be the wrong move, but will Billy realize it before it's too late? The relationship with his family, the strain in his relationship with Jill and Victor, and the danger of Dumas will create a relentless battle that Billy will have to overcome. This is a story not only about power and ambition, but also about unity, loyalty, and the risky decisions in life. The story of Billy, Dumas, Jill, and Victor will continue to develop, and we will witness dramatic situations, decisive moves, and relentless battles between the great powers in the world of the young and the restless.